Another race weekend, another biggest upgrades video, and this time we're bringing them again. Just like in Zandvoort, we're also getting huge packages again for the big teams, with the exception of Red Bull. Apparently, they're bringing someone in Singapore, so the big team ain't done yet. But we are getting something from the Ferrari team, from Aston Martin, some parts from Mercedes. Aston Martin and Ferrari are getting pretty big parts, and the Alfa Romeo team. Oh, and McLaren bringing a low downforce setup. Let's speak about them all. The Temple of Speed. What is everybody bringing? Firstly, let's get into the Alfa Romeo, because this is the lowest team of them all. Well, their year has actually been pretty decent on upgrades. They've actually gained 4/10 from their beginning car. Now, while that is impressive, their car also started off poorly and is still pretty poor. So they need to be gaining a lot more and take some notes off of the Williams team, who has stepped it up a big amount. Now, what they're bringing is supposed to bring them a lot less drag. Apparently, they are actually upgrading the side pods, which they've kept the side pods the same for the whole entire season so far. They went with that downward wash, but it does seem pretty generic to everybody else on the grid. They still don't have that water slide. Maybe that'll be something that's introduced to the Alfa Romeo. It would not shock me if they go down that direction, but side pods and work on the floor to have less drag, because the car's pretty draggy, but it does have a great balance. That is the thought process right now for that team. Next big team actually bringing upgrades. Let's get into the big packages. It is McLaren. So they brought this new part just now in the Zandvoort Grand Prix, and they actually didn't use it for some reason in the race. I don't understand why they didn't, but I guess for correlation purposes, they did not use it, but they tested it out in the practices and they were actually shredding drag. Now, this wing is like a carbon copy of the Aston Martin or the Mercedes wing, because they kind of got that idea first. And also now the AlphaTauri has adapted to it and other teams on the grid. But yet again, still bringing them a good amount of time for the McLaren squad. But that isn't the wing that they're bringing to Monza. They're bringing a lot more stuff here. Not only a wing, but also a majority of other parts. They are saying they're bringing a whole entire, I guess, low downforce package to actually reduce their drag and make them a lot faster in the straights. So like a complete package is coming here. Monza is the type of track that, kind of like Monaco, where you have to adapt the car fully. Monza is the same thing. It's a low downforce track to the max. Monaco is the max downforce. They're carbon opposites, so teams bring a lot of parts to these actual Grand Prix. Mercedes is also bringing some parts here. Very insignificant if you ask me. There's nothing yet confirmed that's strikingly big, but the Mercedes squad is bringing parts. They brought in a new revised beam wing into the Zandvoort Grand Prix, which was predicted to actually come. Now, they were supposed to be getting a lot more parts, but maybe they're actually saving it. The floor edge was a little bit revised, but no underfloor upgrade yet. They're still trying to learn this one that they have, that they've been had actually since Monaco. So I'm presuming that a new underfloor could come here and a lot more reduction to drag. I think the wing they're going to use is going to be the Belgium one. Now, that wing did give them porpoising, but the Spa track is also very particular in that case, and it could have just been track specific. And I don't believe on Monza they should have porpoising. Funny enough, last year the W13 actually here in Monza ended up getting a podium, even though the car was strikingly slow. So hopefully they bring improvements. This type of track can expose their weaknesses, but at the same time, this type of track is actually where they should start learning from it and actually pick up on their development for the W15. So I am not expecting a big package, but it's possible we could get it. Now, before going into the last teams, I just want to thank you all so much for the support on the channel. It has been amazing, and I am beyond thankful for the support you guys give me. I try and read every comment, and I try to reply to every comment, but thank you so much for subscribing. If you haven't, please do, and hit that like button. It supports the video and me in general, knowing that I'm doing a good job. So thank you so much. Let's get into the biggest upgrades coming into this Grand Prix. Now, let's go over Ferrari. Now, Ferrari, the SF23, has been built as a car for low downforce tracks. This could be a surprising track for the team in red. The Tifosi could be happy here. Now, I know Red Bull is the fastest car in a straight line speed with its DRS open, but the actual Ferrari on top speed alone has been a very, very efficient car. And that is not to be messed around with. Now, in cornering, I can't say that, but in top speed alone, they have been very quick. They are introducing a big package here. Now, obviously, they're going to have their little livery that's going to come in. It's going to look all spicy, but a big package here as well. They want one win in the year. They gotta redeem themselves. They have not really had a good race since Austria, in my opinion. They've been struggling. I mean, this Zandvoort Grand Prix was abysmal, in my opinion, for Ferrari. Carlos Sainz saved them from a very bad race. The weekend was just looking bad in general when it came to downforce. But in top speed, they were the quickest. They had the smallest wing. So in Monza, you can expect them to be very fast here. Big parts, work on the floor, and revisions to its rear end. Maybe something similar to what we saw with Aston Martin. With a big package, big things come along. They're trying to straighten out, obviously, their deficiency in all these tracks. But Monza will play into all of its strengths, and here's where we will see improvements upon the car that will actually work on a straight line track. So hopefully Ferrari can deliver. I would be very happy to see Ferrari being the top team here on the top pedestal. It needs to happen for the fans, for Formula One. Can they break the Max Verstappen record breaker, I guess, because this will be his number 10 if he wins this. Last team, which actually should be bringing a big chunk of parts, is Aston Martin. Now, I didn't expect this, but Mike Crack, right after, went onto Sky Sports Germany and said that the new parts are coming. And supposedly, it's supposed to be a pretty big package. Now, I know that their drag has actually been reduced a lot in these Grand Prix. They've actually been pretty decent on top speed. I would not count out AMR here to surprise us with maybe a podium here. Now, Checo hopefully doesn't fail himself again in another Grand Prix, but if he does, Alonso could be there to pick up the pieces, but Ferrari will also be stupidly fast. So they've been a pretty good car in the straight line as of lately when the Canada GP upgrades came. So can they continue this trend? I hope so. I don't really know exactly where these upgrades are going on to. I know that the front wing upgrade is supposedly coming in Singapore, but some package is coming. Is it an underfloor revision? I don't know what will be worked on here to reduce their drag and really improve upon their straight line speed, but supposedly it's a big upgrade package and it's showing positive results, seeing in Zandvoort actually how well they've done. They were the third fastest team, and I mean, honestly, if you want it real, they should be the second fastest team. Ferrari had a low downforce wing on a track that doesn't actually need to have a low downforce setup. So, yet again, Aston Martin, the AMR 23, is improving upon its actual upgrade package. Regardless of that, though, every team here should be bringing upgrades to their rear wing. The Aston Martin in 2022 brought that ridiculous looking wing, and it looked so sick. But guess what? It didn't do shit. It really didn't do anything. It was not great. The Aston Martin was so bad last year when it came to straight line speed. This year they seem to have improved. I still wouldn't say they're magic at it. I would say that the Mercedes is like the AMR 22 of last year. So definitely needing improvements. But every team should bring a rear wing upgrade here. We could see a lot of drag reduction. As I said, this should be very memorable looking to how Monaco was with a whole bunch of upgrades. Monza should do the same thing, and I would expect it to be upon that level of upgrades. Just a lot coming in a big amount. Let's see what happens. I'd like to hear your predictions down below as to how the order will look and which team should bring the most effective package. Hopefully it's Aston Martin. Hopefully it's Ferrari. Let's see. Another one would be nice. Let me know your thoughts down below. Please leave a like, subscribe. It would mean the world. And peace.